through, it broke above the purple line. But notice that
Yep.
when it didn't retest it, it went below it, and then it
Mm-hmm.
resisted, and then it kept working, and then people panicked, and then they sold. And guess what? We hit the best entry again, 103,600, right?
That's right.
So that's about, that's the normal thing. That's the patience. Now, how can we be confident that that was going to happen? Well, the two things that we were waiting for, right? And this is kind of interesting, is the first thing that we were waiting for was this is what we're focusing on, guys. I don't want you guys to, remember this. What we're focusing on is volume. Volume is king. Why
Volume
does
is
a
king.
yeah,
That's
volume is
correct.
king. Why does a coin move, right? So the very first thing that you got to look at is a 2 hour, right, time frame. And on the 2 hour time frame, there is a chart or an indicator that is called a stochastic RSI, which is this right here. So as we go through this, we can see that the 2 hour RSI broke through the 20 at this level here, and I'm going to move this over, and it's not going to be right on the break. It's going to be one candle over. So I'm going to move one over so that this right here is what we're looking at. Now I'm going to turn this color into orange so that we know that's what we're looking for. And that is when the 2 hour actually broke through. So now that we know that, right? And you can see that it's almost at the top here. So just so you guys understand how an RSI works. The relative RSI goes from the level of 0, which is down here, and it goes up to 100, which is this line right here. Now, 90% of the time, once it hits this 100 line up here, it will basically, so think of this as buyers. So the relative strength index is showing you how many people are buying, right? But it doesn't show you the amount that they're buying. It's just telling you that people are buying, right? So once we break through this section here that they're buying, let's go take a look. And I'll make this a little bit thicker so that we know what we're looking at exactly. Yeah, that's pretty thick. Okay. So now when I go back here, you can see here, down here, see that orange? All I am going to do here is match that up with this blue box, right? Because the blue box represents the first, what we call a buying zone, right? So that blue box, you can see that that line is equal to this orange line here. You see that? Now, during this section here, this is the first, what we call buying section. This is where people are buying, but they're just not buying enough to really like set it forward. So the next section that we're looking for to give us the next run is when it becomes a 4 hour RSI breaking the 20. And if we go back to the RSI, right now we're on the 2 hour. You can see the 2 hour broke, but if we go to the 4 hour, you can see that the 4 hour still hasn't broke through that 20 line right here, which is this yellow line right there. All right, and we can make that white. Let me see. This is the 20 line that we're looking for right here. See, if this would have been the 2 hour break, and then the 4 hour would have shared the momentum that the 2 hour had and broke through here, well, then that would have jumped. Then we would have had a run. Currently, we don't have enough volume here to make Bitcoin move. That's why we're kind of like stuck in this channel, right? It rejected. So now let's go back to the main chart. Now we know the 4 hour hasn't happened yet. This is why the white box is still down here, is because it hasn't triggered enough volume to make a move. And you can see here that, during that 2 hour time frame, let's go to the 15-minute. You can see during that 2 hours right there, notice that there was a move. Notice that it did break above. You see how it broke above the support, the resistance? But because the 1 hour rejected, what happened? It went back down because the buyers stopped buying. There wasn't enough buyers to continue, and it slowly just worked its way down. That's why we didn't have that nice retest and move to the top. There wasn't enough buyers. So this is how we can look at a coin and know that when we're supposed to get in and when there's a fake out, right? So what that was just the market makers faking you out, showing you that there was a bunch of people buying, but then the 4 hour lets you know that they weren't real. It wasn't a real buy, right? And that's why it came back down. And that's how we can tell when we're supposed to get into an A trade. The A trade, which is the number one trade that you can get into, is when the momentum and the price action and the volume all come together and the 4 hour breaks above the 20 line. That is the beginning for you to start looking for the best entries. Currently, hasn't happened yet, and that's why we have this pullback, and it pulled back in the channel. Now, by doing our basic history of limit order buys showing support, the first bounce showed us the resistance, and then we have this channel. The pullback, which is the first pullback here, gave us the middle of the channel, and then we can see where the 2 hour had a nice upward move, broke through, came back, hit resistance again, and then it made its way all the way back down the channel, patient as always. And if you were paying attention and you set your buy orders at 103,500, then you're in pretty good right now, and you should be up, if you're doing your leverage correctly, you should be up 75% on this trade, right? So it's 70, you should be doing at least a 50x on this, right? So you should be up 75%. So if you did your normal trading, like you're supposed to, that gives you that really good move there. Now, the reason why I just sold my position and just took the cash real quick is because there's no volume in this current trade telling me that it's going to remain at the top of this channel. This is probably going to come all the way back down. This is why, step number one is learn to get the best entry. Step number two is take the profits, because they don't stay, they don't last. Because once people are done putting money into a coin, then that's the end of the coin. Okay. So for us, the lessons that we're going through right here is buying in the 2 hour power zone, which was when the 2 hour RSI broke the 20. Now, if you had bought in there, this is the lesson from it. Let's go ahead and measure this move. So if you bought in this position, right, and you measured this move out, it is currently a 0.69. Now, which basically means, let's just say 0.5%. So if you were doing a 50x leverage, right, and with Bitcoin's a big coin, you should be doing at least a 75 on this. 50 is the lowest. So if you started out with 50, it's okay. But what this means is that this is a 27 to 30% gain. The reason why we teach everyone to close out on 30% gains when it's early inside of a trade cycle is because that's the average easy to hit target, and that will improve your gains, because if you're constantly learning how to take 30% and then waiting for the next opportunity, which is just another pullback, which happens to be right here on the 15-minute. Anytime there's a bump, there's a pullback. Here's the pullback on there, and then what you'd be waiting for is the next 15-minute buy signal, right? In this particular situation, you got a 15-minute buy signal here. You would have allowed for the buy signal to come in. You would have let the pullback happen, and then you would have noticed that your pullback would have bring you back to 105,000 right here, the buy zone. And then that's where you'd be right now as you start to move up. So you'd have another opportunity where you could have bought in and did another 1.3%, which would be on a 50x leverage, 75%. So you could have hit another 30% gain. So when you're doing, $100, it's $30, $30, $30. And then when you do that 10 times in a row, then you move to 200 and it's $60, $60. And you do that, 10 more times, and then you go to 300, 400, and then eventually you're at doing $1,000 trade and you're collecting $300 a trade, right? So you work your way into whatever your goal is. So if you want to make $300 extra a week trading, then that just means you have to do 10 $100 trades. And as you build your bank up, give yourself 4 weeks of 10 trades in a row, 10 trades in a row. Eventually, within 4 to 8 weeks, or 2 months, which is, like learning a new job, you can be in a situation where you're making 300 to 600 bucks per trade. That's one a day. So I don't know if you want to make $100 a day, 300 bucks a day, 600 bucks a day, but you can work yourself into the financial situation that you want to be in and see how much you need to make, right? So whatever you need to make, you can build that there. You just have to, understand what you have to decide how much you want to make, right? 300 bucks a week, 300 bucks a day, right? Either way, you can work yourself into it. So with that being said, what we're learning here is the best place to have buy zones. So this 2-hour buy zone would have been the zone that we buy. There's a pullback, and then buying on the support zone would have gave you another win. And currently at this time, after those 2 wins, what we're really waiting for is the confirmation of our 4-hour RSI, right? Because when that breaks above the 20 line, that's going to be where we're really studying the next moves. Because once the 4-hour RSI breaks above the 20 line, which looks like it's doing right now, in the next maybe 4 hours, once that breaks above that 20 line there, then we'll be trading longs. And the reason why we wait for the 4-hour to break above is because what we're doing is we're setting ourselves up to be in a situation that we're trading the best long opportunity, meaning that we're doing longs at the best time to do a long, right? So right now, as that 4-hour RSI starts to move towards that line, we know that Bitcoin is basically heating up. So right now, depending on your leverage, depending on what you're trading, this is where you'd be picking your cost average buying. And then the other thing that we do to confirm that we're inside of a situation where we can go into a long position here is the 15-minute has a threshold of 10, and what we're looking for is the volume to stay above the 0 line. And the very first pullback we got here was it rejected the 10, came back, fought the 10, rejected it, pulled back, and now it's in a situation where it's coming back above, and it's showing that it's maintaining positive value. So Bitcoin overall on the 15-minute is now showing its positive value, meaning that it's showing that it's going to, looks like it's holding its position. So looks like it's going to hold its current price pretty well. So it's building what we call a floor. And then on the 4-hour RSI, it's showing us that Bitcoin is starting to heat up, right? It's almost getting the 4-hour position to let us know that it's about to actually break above the channel that we've been waiting for over the last 24 hours. So for now, you can see, and if you watch your pattern here, you can see that it went up, it came down, people sold, people didn't know what's happening. Now the sellers have finally stopped selling because the buyers are overtaking the retail investors that don't know how to trade, and now the buyers are starting to create a basement or a floor. And then what's going to happen is once this happens, all the people that sold this position here are going to realize they were terrible traders and say, oh, I made a mistake, and they're going to buy here, and then we'll see that pump happen, and then they'll get dumped on, and they'll be right back where they bought. And there's the vicious cycle that we live in. But this is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the 4-hour RSI to get to that position so that we can be in the position where Bitcoin is saying this is the best time to trade. So what we're still waiting for is the 4-hour RSI to break the 20. We're waiting for that to make this original pop. And then what we're expecting is the people that got in have been holding at the 103,500 to sell their position and allow it to come back and retest at the support, the current resistance at 105,000. And then that pullback is where we will be looking to enter, either 100. So we would love to get in at 104,330. That's the optimal spot. But once that reversal happens and it starts up after that, this next move, then we'll be looking for it to actually do the breakout that, you know, we've been waiting for. But more than likely, once it breaks above here, we're looking to get in at least 105,000 for the, you know, second optimal entry, and then basically allow it to do its push to the upside there. So that's kind of where, you know, we're waiting for. Sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes 2 days, but that's the next thing. So far, everything that we went over the other day was limit order entry 103,600. It actually came back and hit a buy signal there, which is the trade you should be in right now. And then right now it looks like it's starting to pick up momentum finally. It's staying above, it's showing the 15-minute has volume above the 0 line. So right now we're working towards the breakout. The only thing that we need to confirm that is we need the 4-hour RSI to come in and break that 20 line. And once it does that, then the odds of us being successful in a long position will go up tenfold. So you don't want to be a trader that's trading, you know, kind of like in an area that is, you know, you want the odds to be in your favor. You don't want to be trading and buying something that doesn't have volume if you're doing a long. You want to be in a position where you're buying when everybody's starting to buy, right? And it looks like right now Bitcoin is, you know, heating up, and we'll have confirmation over the next 4 hours. So what we're going to do here is, you know, we're going to come back. Obviously, you know, we're waiting, Silva, what you're waiting for is for the 4-hour to break the 20 line so that you can go in and start setting up your long position, which would be allowing it to break the 20 line. And if it didn't pump at that section there, so what'll happen is right now, if we look at the 15-minute, right, we gotta sell, we gotta buy, and you know that buy is starting to build momentum. So when it kind of pushes through here, what we're looking for is a push up, a sell, and then on that sell pullback, right? So when we see the next sell pullback, then we'd be looking to buy the next pullback on the 15-minute, wherever that goes, and then we want to ride that next 15-minute buy. So we need the buy to go to sell, the sell to go to buy, and that's our entry point. Because we don't want the knock at the door. We want the knock, open the door, fall back down, and then run through the door. So we're going with the better version of the push, which is always the second version of it. Because just like anything, people have limit orders and they have limit sells. Just like anything, people have limit orders. So when things sell, what's going to happen is it's going to go up, hit a limit sell, and then people are going to realize that the volume is heavy, and then they're going to come back and rebuy, and then that'll push it for the second leg. So we want to always get that second leg movement. So that's what we'll focus on here. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll hop on. So this is probably about 8 hours out. So we'll probably hop on in the morning or in the afternoon tomorrow. Probably about 11 o'clock Central. Yeah, you do. You want to do 2:30 Central? Yeah. So let's do 2:30 Central, and then that should be pretty close to where we're seeing a breakout here. Confirmation that we should be looking for a long, and you know, get into that trade there. So right now it's working how we expect it to work. It just hasn't, you know, broke out yet, and our indicators haven't said anything. So you can see here, the 45-minute, we still don't have a buy signal on the 45-minute, which is our entry point. And if we look at the 45-minute, we haven't the volume, but see how the 45 minutes, see how the volume's starting to stay above the 0 line? You see that?
Yes.
That's a real good indicator that right now is an early time to get in this. It's probably a good position to get in right now if you're using low leverage like 20x, right? Because that way the 20x you don't have to worry about. So for instance, like this is what I was talking about positioning, right? So if you're using a 20x leverage, that means that all the way back down to the bottom of this channel from where it's at is a 1.2% move, which means that's about 25 to 30% stop loss for you, right? So if it goes all the way back down to the channel and you're doing a 30% stop loss, you're still in the game, right? So the odds of you staying in here is pretty thick, right? So now that you got that momentum building and the volume on the 45 is staying above the 0 line, you know, that's where you can, this is more like a B trade, where you can take a risk here and say, okay, I'm going to do a 20x leverage, put $100 on there, 20x leverage, enter it, you know, and do an entry. So then for your entry, you'd go over and you take a look at your 15-minute, look at the RSI. You can see the 15-minute RSI is starting to bend. So, you know, it's kind of in the middle. So it's not a bad spot to be in. So right here, I'd pull the trigger here. If it was at the top, I would let it come all the way, the head down, and then when it started to head back up, then I would pull again, right? So right now, an entry point here at where we at 104,800, right? So that's kind of where, you know, that's a 20x leverage entry. It's not a high leverage entry because a high leverage entry needs more confirmation. Yeah, I can't do you can't do 100x or something like this without, you know, because it could still go down 1%, right? So that stop loss would be, you know, would be diminished. But if you're doing like a 20x leverage, this is where you can be a little more frugal and say, you know what, I like this momentum. I'm seeing the building. I'm going to go ahead and do a 20x or a 30x here. And I'm going to go ahead and set my stop loss at, you know, 35%, do $100, do a 20x leverage, and then, you know, you never know. But whenever this takes off and pumps up, when that 4 hour breaks, you still got to do the same thing. You still have to sell and then wait for the next pullback, and then you would get in, and then your leverage would go from 20 to 50. Guru, what's up, baby? Guru Sun, man. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Yeah, man, we're gonna do this every day on TikTok. Most days on TikTok. If you missed the videos, then you need to head over to YouTube. I'll put all the videos there. You can see I'm already grinding this out. But I want to show you guys, you know, whatever your goal is, $100 a day, $200 a day, $300 a day, $300 a week, whatever your goal is. We'll simply show you how to do it, and then you have different scenarios of trading and how to break down a trade and learn the only thing that's important in trading is one thing: volume. You know, things don't move without volume, and things go down when volume disappears. So, you know, there's volume to go up and volume to go down. That's about it, man.
The goal is going to be $600 a day.
Yeah, so you want to get to 600 a day. So then, for you. Yeah, so for you would be, you know, simplicity would be obviously, you know, we're mastering the 30, you know, 20 to 60%, you know, gains, which is an average of 30%. So for you, if you want to do 600 a day, that means finding one solid trade a day and doing, you know, a $2,000 bag and making $600 on that trade. So that's where you need to be. You need a $2,000 trade, 30% of a $2,000 trade, right? And the good thing about that is that even if you don't find a trade in a day, but the next day you find a better trade, you can do a solid 120% on a good trade, and then you still end up at the same $600 a day. So right now, what you got to do is you got to master with $100. Take $100 and you got to master making an average of 30% after 10 trades. So you have $100, 10 trades, $30 plus, you know, times 10. You should end up at the end of the 10 trades with $300 in profit. You know, and then you move up to $200 and then 600, you know, $600 after 10 trades. So, but what you got to do is master the 30%, you know, take home. Alejandro, what up, baby? Double my money every month. So you can double your money every month, man. You just have to be very like precise, right? You know, and you can do it if you become a full-time trader. You know, I used to trade all the time, and then I just, you know, I spent a year and a half. What was I with you guys? About a year and a half, 2 years straight trading with you guys, and then from there I was like, you know what? I need sunlight. So.
Yeah, Coach used to be up all night, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Coach used to be up all
36.
I go from Portland, Oregon. I get down to California and I get
Still.
signal again, hey, hold on, guys. Let me make this trade. There's my alert. Talking about
Yeah.
the moons.
We'd be
Like,
36 hours, bro.
What's up, moon?
Yeah, 36 hours straight. Legend, do you do one-on-one? So Legend, what we're doing right now is Silva is actually, he went and got into the trading course. So we're doing one-on-ones right now. So what you're witnessing is he's going through the trading course right now, and we're just going to do it live on TikTok, because that way, you know, a lot of people, when you learn or teach, like there's so many people out there trying to do courses for trading, and they, you know, try to show you all these indicators with the crazy wrapping stuff, but they don't teach you a really simple system to make money. And Silva, make sure you get in that 20x trade on this, because it's going to move. But
Okay.
you know, that way you can practice getting in there. So you should do the $100, 20x leverage.
20, you say 20x?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, because you're waiting. You're kind of you're looking at the pre-bounce. So Legend, yeah, we do where we push the, you know, we teach everybody something simple, right? Because I don't want you to take a trading course before you understand the basics, right? So, you know, this is where if you want to follow along, you go get yourself a TradingView account, so that way you understand it, you can mess with it, and you can see what we're doing. The indicators that we use, you can go get these indicators on TradingView. These are our indicators right here, so you can set them up. So that way you have all the tools and everything. And then if you're someone who says, hey, you know what, I've been trading, I know TradingView, I want to get in there. If you go to my TikTok, right under my name is the Making Trading Easy. Click on there. There is a trading course option, right? You can click on that. So right now what we're doing for TikTok is, well, I used to do this course for $3,000, right? And I would teach you one-on-one and show people how to, like, you know, do 40,000, you know, they do well. So what I'm doing right now.
Excuse me, Coach, but can you see my screen?
Let me see.
I'm on BitNext right now.
BitNext. Let me see your screen. So you got to share it.
Okay, hold on. Let me get over here.
So then what I'm doing for TikTok is I'm going to do live training on TikTok, and then the $3,000 course we're just going to do one-on-one, and we got it for $300. So you can jump in for $300, and then we'll actually do your course live on TikTok. I record it and put it on YouTube so that you can go back and watch it. But it also helps a bunch of people that are kind of sitting around wondering if they can even learn how to trade, right? Because you don't want to. I mean, $3,000 is a lot to spend, but $300 is a lot to spend too. So you don't want to spend $300 and then be like, oh, I just don't understand, you know. So this way you can at least, you can see. There you go.
You see it?
Yeah, you can see how you can, like, you can learn how to trade. Yeah, I see you, man. All right,
Okay,
so
all right, gotcha.
you got close up top. Yeah, that's 20, right? So the green is long and red is, you know, short. So what do you got that at 20, right? Yeah.
Right here. You see right here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, now can you see this right here? What right here? I'm gonna put that at 35.
Okay, so what this is here, that's your actual money, right? So you see down there, like, so whatever's in your account, scroll down so I can see. So that's how much of your account, right? So let's say down here, so you have 224. So if you put that at 50%, then that would be 110. So you'd be
50%?
so you'd be around there, so about 47%, but that's fine. So what you're looking for here is the pullback that's coming right now off the 5-minute RSI. All right, so you got this at 20x. You're going to do 50% of the wallet, which is $107. Okay, so now move to your right, because you want to set this up to where, so you have your stop loss and take profit. But you see how below that, to the right it says it has money, right? So you want to change that. Go down to the right, and you want to hit that arrow.
To the right here?
Yeah. So see how it says price USDT? No. That's all fine. I'm talking about your TP. Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah. you need to change that over, and there should be
To,
ROI, return of investment.
okay.
There you go, and do that for both of
And-
them. So what that's going to mean is that now you can just type in the number that you want. So now on this, that should be your take profit. You can put 60. So then it knows that it wants to take profit at 60%. And then on your stop loss, you put 30 on there. And now it knows that it...
35?
Yeah, you can do 35, that's fine. Now it knows that your stop loss is 35%. You see how it has a negative in front of it?
Correct.
Okay, so now that that's all done, you hit open long.
All right.
And that should be it. Tick confirm.
Just go ahead and confirm it, right?
Yeah, you have to confirm it because it's showing you everything that you have right now. So now that should actually become an open order because I think the price is, so you have 104,900. Okay, so now that's in the order records for you for a trade. So go over to, you see on the, go all the way far left. You see how positions are 0, open position is 1, right? So there, left, all the way left. These are your orders. Yeah. So right now you have no open positions. The next one over, right? Click on that one. That has 1 open position. That's an order. That's an open order. So this is an order that's waiting to be executed, right? So that should have like in there limit order. That should have all the data that you're looking for as far as like, you know, what you have in there. So right now, it says
There's no trading stop.
well, it has an open order, but it's not like populating. Let's see.
Okay, so what I gotta do?
So look for it. So look for the, go down and see how it has limit order. What's the one that has a 1 on it? Trigger order. Go to trigger. See how the trigger? No, far left. Yeah. Click that. So when you set this up, it looks like there's a trigger order here.
It's not populated.
But that's where it's sitting at. All right, so now go back to top left positions. Click on positions, and we're gonna top left. Click, go up one,
It's not populating.
Okay, let it think. Let your computer's thinking. So what we want to do here is,
So just go ahead and refresh it.
refresh it because we need to find that order.
Just thinking. Okay.
Oh, you know what you got to do is you got a shitload of tabs up top.
Oh yeah.
That's what slows you down.
I gotta close some of that stuff out.
All right, so now, you know, go in there, and then what you want to do is we got to find those, got to find that order.
Oh, yeah, it's popping back up now. There we go.
Because there should be one you have open orders. It should be to the right. There should say, like, cancel all or, you see out to the right there, so across there. There should be an area that says, like, if you can't see something, you just cancel out. I don't know if it's, or go to open order, and then there should, when you hit open order, it should populate a cancel option to the right.
There's no data position. Let's see here. We cancel some of this stuff out up here.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to keep it kind of like, anytime you're trading, you want to make sure that you only have trading view open, what you're trading on, you know, keep it very, very light for it so it has action on there. And then when you're streaming it also, like, it slows you down because it's also trying to stream with you.
Okay, here we are. We're back.
So you have your cross 20. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Look. So go over to your top right. I'm gonna show you the mistake, and then you can go find it. Go top right, where you placed your order. Okay. So
Right here.
yeah. So you need to take off trigger. You need to go limit.
Limit. Okay.
Right. Because I don't know what the trigger. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the trigger you have set, but you want to put limit, and that's where below is going to have the option of. If you don't know the price, you can click market and then go back to limit, and it'll auto populate the current price, right? And then if let's say like earlier we were talking about how Bitcoin was going to go back to 103,500, then what you would do is you'd go to limit, type in 103,500, and then go to your click the little TPSL, set your your 60% win, 30% loss, etc., and then you would go in there. The problem is right now is that you have a trigger order, and I don't know where it is, right? So now that's fine. That's where you want it there. So let's go back down to the orders, open orders. Click on that. Yeah. Click on those open orders. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to cancel this trigger order because we don't know what the trigger is.
It says I'm not connected to an active network.
Yeah, that's your internet right now because you're streaming.
Yeah.
So what'll happen is when that does populate, look to the right and look for an area where you can. Normally it says cancel all, or click on the order itself and cancel the order, and then go reset it for yourself.
Okay.
So now when you go in here to like make the order. Right, so you would be doing an order here. What you'd be looking for is a pullback on the next pullback of this, normally like a 5-minute pullback, which is happening right now. Is you'd be looking to do a limit order at something around 104,700 or something like that, with the 20x leverage. But yeah, so once you're going to see a pullback happen right now in Bitcoin, and that's where you want to do a 20 leverage. So right now what you want to do is go ahead and we'll hop off and cut your stream out and everything so the PC's not like bogging down for you, and just find that trigger order, cancel it, and then reset the limit order with the 20x, same stop loss percentages, return on investment, and set it for like 104,700 or something like that. All right, and then tomorrow we're gonna go ahead.
Okay, so in the coin, I'm gonna set it for 104,700. Oh, it just came up. You were right. The streaming kind of bogged it down. Okay, and then I want to set my 26%.
Oh shit! Look, so hey Legend, you still here? Legend, hit ones in the chat if you still here. So, okay, so this is funny. So Silva, Legend is asking. He's like, "Yo, I want to learn one-on-one trading," and I just read his comment. And he's like, "I'm an over the well. What were you doing for a living?"
I was over the road delivering hazmat chemicals.
Yeah, so you're an over the road trucker, right?
I was.
Yeah. So he just asked. He said, "Look," he goes, "Do you teach one-on-one? I'm an over the road trucker and want to get into trading."
It's the best thing going, bro. Better hurry up.
Yeah, but that's you. That's the same thing you did.
Right.
So that's funny. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Legend, the guy that's taking the course right now, Silva, he just stopped doing over the road driving. So yeah, the same thing, brother. Same thing. So yeah, that's funny, guys. Yeah, I got a lot of guys that actually, are actually truck drivers that come in and learn how to trade, and they stop, driving. So yeah, it's a lot of truckers out there, and it's simple. So,
Coach, over back at the right up on the cross, it's open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna leave it on limit, and my coin is gonna be 33% on BTC, and right up under that, the 0 to 25, I place it at 33%. TPSL on
Yeah.
the
60 and 30, yeah, 61, 32, whatever, that's fine.
okay, 61, 32.
Yeah, you're fine on that. 60 and 30, you're
right.
good. So now
And then I have the.
that all looks good. So limit. So now your limit's going to be that price. So 104,855. That's the limit order. So right now you see how the price is currently above that. But you can go. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. So,
1478.
no, go up a little bit higher. So you see the price that it has above 33%, 104,885. So when you do limit, that's the number that will trigger the buy. So currently, it's slightly above that, which is okay.
You're talking about this right here, right?
No, yeah, I'm talking about the Bitcoin price. Yeah, 104,855. So that's where you have your trigger on there, right? So that's where you're telling it when it reaches that level or that price to buy. So you're good there.
Okay,
So,
it populated at open long right here.
yeah. So now, okay, so now you have your open orders, right? And it tells you right there, like it tells you like your last price, and then it should have like there's your take profit. It should have an entry like area.
Well, I have the trigger price.
Yeah.
Last price 104,931.
Right.
Reduce no, untriggered.
Right, because it hasn't gone, but it hasn't hit your limit price of 865 or whatever you have.
Right.
Right.
And
So
the network status disconnected again.
yeah, that's because you're streaming, bro. But yeah, that's how you do it. So yeah, now you're good. Now you can, and like I said, if you want to cancel, now the other thing you can do is if you, let's say you, this is what I was talking about earlier. So look at the chart. You see on the left-hand side, you have that that green box. See that green box on your left?
Yes.
Okay, that should have a price in it, right? When you move that
Yes.
up, when you move that down, but you can actually move that down and make it to where the entry price is even lower. Or if it's starting to move, you can move the entry price up to where the next pullback is coming. So you can adjust your entry price just by moving that before it triggers. And then after it triggers, yeah. So pull it down.
So I'm gonna drag it with the cursor, right?
Yeah.
Here, like this.
Yeah, just click on and drag it. And that's how you can also adjust your stop loss and your take profit. So once it triggers and becomes a trade, you'll see a green TP, and then you'll see a red SL for stop loss. So you can move the TP up and down on the chart without having to type anything in. And then that's what I'm saying is as the profit starts to happen, you can then move your stop loss up on the chart. So that way it's like you're keeping up with the push, and then when it does fall back down, it clicks off wherever you have it.
Okay. For this one right here, where the number is, I'm trying to move it, coach, but it won't budge.
Yeah, I'm looking at I can't really see all the way on your, I can't read. What's it say? What's it say in the green?
104,931, and there's an X right here.
So is that your trigger? Are you already in a trade? Let me see. So you should have, I mean, you did that right. Let me see. All right. I go down. Let me see if it's an open order. If it's just, see. Okay, so you have an open order. See how it's under trigger? Oh, yeah. Okay, go to cancel all.
Cancel.
Yeah,
Cancel all?
That's the
Right.
up above. Yeah, that's your cancel all.
Confirm.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was your trigger order. That's why we couldn't move it. All right, now go to your left. You see now you have an open position.
Okay.
See how it's open now? So go to your
Untriggered.
yeah. So
Untriggered.
cancel that one. Cancel the trigger one.
Count.
Yeah,
Okay.
cancel it.
The one that's untriggered, or
Yeah. Get rid of that
where that? Okay.
because that's under the triggered. See how it's highlighted? How it has open orders and then it says trigger order. and trigger orders highlighted to your left. And refresh that page because sometimes it'll hold on to it.
Okay. Just refresh it now.
Yeah, because the only trade you want is your limit order, not your trigger order. You see what I'm saying? So here's how this works.
Yes.
To your left,
Yes.
you have on BitNext, it's going to have positions. Those are positions that are currently active. The next one to the right, it says open orders. When you click on open orders, those are going to have a line below that says limit market, TPSL, which is take profit stop loss, trigger order, and trailing stop. Those are the type of trades that you are doing. Yours should always be under limited market until they fill and become positions, and then the only thing that you should see in that position is take profit and stop loss. So the only thing that should show up after that, right? If you look at trigger order and there's something there, you need to cancel that and get that out of there.
Okay, here we are again. So I should put that at back at 62. 62. Move that to
Because the only thing you should have is a position trade that goes active, and then on the open orders, the only thing that should be there under open orders, there's limit, and then there's take profit stop loss. The only thing that should be there is a stop loss and take profit order. That's the only thing that should be under open orders, because it's the only thing that hasn't filled yet. It's because your current open position hasn't filled a stop loss or take profit, so that's why it would still be in the open order position.
correct. Okay. You see where I'm at, right? Can you see my screen now?
It's loading right now. Okay, there you go.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back at.
Oh, you're in okay. You see on your chart, you're in a trade.
Right here.
Yeah, see the stop loss down below.
Let me see.
That's an active position right now.
Right.
Now, what I'm saying is, you see how that says SL on there, the red flag on your chart? That's your stop loss.
Go back up. Right. Stop loss right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, come on, right here, coach. Right.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
grab that and move that up and down. The other thing is that your take profit, if you scroll, yeah, you don't want to move that too much because then you move your position. Yeah.
Right.
But you can see where you know that you can kind of move it in. So if it's too far or too far away from a normal support or something, you can move it up a little bit and kind of like, and then to check it, go down and click on. Okay, you see how that green line to the right? There's like a little dot from the stop loss, and then it goes up. The other part of your take profit,
Right.
yeah, go back up, yeah. So if you move your chart down, scroll up a little so we can see the chart. You see how that line to the right is a dot and it's going up? There's 3 dots. There's a dot at the bottom, which is stop loss. The dot in the middle, which is your order position where you actually got in the trade. And if you scroll up, that's your take profit up top. Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah. So you can move these anyway. So what'll happen is, let's say this starts to move towards your take profit, right? You could just grab your stop loss and start moving it up, and then when it's in profit, you can just move it into the upper area. Now to check where they're at, right? What you would do is you go down below where the open orders are, and you go to the positions, right? And it has your position that's currently open. And then to the to the bottom right of that, you see the TPL and SL.
Right here.
Next one, click that. So when you move them by hand, you can go here, and that'll tell you where you're actually at. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Right.
Those are your stop losses and your take profits and all that other stuff. So you can
Do I wanna
manually.
any of these right now, Coach? They're good right now.
Well, they're on the chart right now. So what you can do is double check. Is I put that at 30.
Oh wait, hold on. My apologies. Let me go back. This one at 30.
Yeah, go ahead and set it so that way it's set for sure. And then put the other one at 60. And then that should pop up on your, and then confirm. No, you're good. You don't have to be perfect. And then just hit confirm.
Okay. Confirm again, correct?
Yep. They're just telling you what's in there, and now that should pop up. Like those adjustments should pop up on your. You see there? Now they're on your screen again. You see?
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
I don't know why I had it on trigger. It should have always been on limit.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes you're clicking around.
Yeah, I be moving around. I'm still learning this platform.
Alejandro, are we on WeX? No. Alejandro, are you talking about what we're trading on? We're trading on BitNex. So guys, if you're gonna get in this and you're gonna start, you're gonna want to get yourself a BitNex account, right? The best way, cheapest fees, cash back, BitNex. So go watch one of my videos. I got all my videos on there, or you just click the link in my TikTok and then click on the exchange for the US. So no KYC, no VPN. And the best thing is that, you know, they give away a bunch of like rebates and cash back. So when you guys have it, I can help you guys get rewards for having your BitNex. So this is the only exchange I use, guys, because they pay me a bunch of cash back, and yeah, it's cheap. Best exchange, you know, I don't use, yeah. And it doesn't have any MMR problems. MMRs are where you do futures and you get liquidated all the time because the wicks always get you. BitNex doesn't have that problem. They're not like MEXC, you know, they're not trying to, Blowfin is terrible. You know, this is actually like a real, yeah, they're not trying to rip you off. Number one exchange for me, guys. Number one exchange for me. All right, Silva. So we'll check on this tomorrow morning. We'll see where we're at. And then, you know, like I said, we're just waiting for that 4 hour to break through. If we can get that volume, then we want to see a push up, a pullback. And then once it does that push up and pullback, then we'll be looking to get in on that second retesting of the current resistance. And then the second half of that 4 hour RSI, once we go through a cycle, we want to catch that second cycle. So got BTC go up today? Yeah. So I mean, we're getting into that spot, man. So make sure, guys, we're gonna go cover this every day. Tomorrow we're gonna hop at 2 o'clock. Legend, if you want to XRP, Legend, if you want to, you know, ask more questions or whatever, you can send me a Gmail, or you can text me direct, man. You still here, Legend? All the truck drivers out there.
All the truck drivers out there. All the truck drivers out there.
You're gonna build a whole.
It's time to get a new skill. It's time to get a new skill and a new craft. Get it right, keep it right.
Truck driver
if
day.
I can do it, you can do it.
So here, guys, if you're interested, yeah, it's pretty easy, man. So if you guys are interested, you can text me direct. You can go ahead and screenshot that. If you have any questions, just send me a text message. Let me know, like, yo, this is Legend from TikTok, or, you know. That way I know you are.
Oh, it's not the Legend, it's a Legend, right?
Legend. Yeah.
Come on, Legend. Let's get a new craft, man. You mastered the art of driving.
Yeah.
Master the art of,
you guys.
Master the art of trading.
So I'll tell you guys will spend all day talking about all the driving. All right, so ADA. So we're going to take a quick look before we get off. Let's take a look at ADA for our guy, Rand. So we're going to take a look at ADA, and it's the same scenario. Right now, the very first thing that we're going to look at, that's the only thing that's important, is volume. We're going to go down to the 2 hour. So right now, you actually look, ADA looks like it's about to hit a 2 hour moon, right? So the first thing is, what we like to see is a pullback moon, which is, you can see right here, you have a blue moon here. You see this blue moon? So that's a pullback. So if you're in a long right now and you're up, this pullback that just happened is about to go the other direction for you. So to verify that, we need to take a look at the RSI. So you can see right here that you had a good push right here, which is this bounce right here. You see this bounce that happened right here? That's because the 20-minute that 20 line was broken. But the real move that we'd be waiting for is the 4 hour. So notice right here, the 4 hour ADA just broke the 4 hour 20 line. So it's going to be about another 4 hours. And then once it gets that next wick, ADA should be looking pretty good here because it should get another green moon. So yeah, I mean right now it looks like it looks like Cardano is making a move here. So we're gonna put a price here at 60.40. I'm gonna stamp this with what we're waiting for, which is the 4 hour to break here, and then I'm gonna slide over to our 45 minute because we need a buy signal on the 45 minutes. So let's take a look here. So here's Cardano with a pullback, buy, sell. It hasn't got a buy yet. It's had its bounce and it's retesting. So yeah, it's looking like Bitcoin. And here's the key right here. You see this right here? What you need here is volume above the zero, right? But you see how this is 45-minute time frame. So you see right here how the volume broke above the zero line, right? And what I mean by that, guys, is over here, there's numbers on the side of a chart, right? And there's a zero line. Right, I'll zoom in for you guys. It's just like a negative. It's like math, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, -1, -2. They go both directions. The 0 is the middle ground for volume on these charts, and then when they go above that area, right? So I'm going to put a line here. That's a white line. That's the 0 line. So notice here how the volume slowly got above there, and now it's coming down and it's starting to curl up. That's a good sign because what we're going to see here is we're going to want it to break up here, create a higher high, which will probably break a channel, retest the support zone, and then the entry would be on that retest right there. So yeah, it looks like I mean the 4 hour is about to break. So over the next 4 to 8 hours, Cardano is going to make a move to where it should be retesting this top, coming back, and then from here 60 cents it should be making a move here. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. We can come back and take a look at Cardano tomorrow as well. We can hop on and then we'll see where we're at there. But it is starting to build momentum. Which indicator is the first one about the RSI? So this right here is called the stochastic RSI. All right, so you go to your favorites. All you have to do is type in RSI. There's one called stochastic right there. So you can start with that one, and then that you're looking for the 4 hour to break across the 20 line. So if you're not using that, you should use that. It teaches you that the volume is starting to build, and then this is why we're going to see Bitcoin make a move. Cardano is about to make a move as well. So get your RSI set up so that way when we're talking about these things, you can at least have the basic. And look at here, look at your RSI here on the 45 minute. Look how Cardano is already bending up. You see that? That's a real good sign, and that's happening with your volume. So the thing that matters here isn't that there's a lot of people buying here. It's that the volume is almost positive. What that means is the sellers who have been selling this entire time and the buyers are finally out buying the sellers, which then in return will bring all these sellers back because they realize they sold at the wrong time, and that's where you're going to get that pump. So you look pretty good here, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're looking good over here. The other indicators, these are, you can get them here, type them in, take a screenshot. There you go. These are venture capitalists making trading easy, Moon volume tracker, and price action tracker, and tracker 2. All right. So we're gonna hop on tomorrow as well, 2 o'clock Central, and we're gonna follow up on these trades. If you want to go back and study these things and learn what we're doing, you can go to the Venture Capitalist was it VC Crypto Nation at YouTube, right? And the easiest way to do it is if you just type in the TikTok, go to my TikTok, VC Crypto Nation. On TikTok, the only thing that's added is live, because this is where I go live. So VC Crypto Nation live, and then you'll see there's a website right there called Making Trading Easy. So click on makingtradingeasy.com right there underneath there, and that will have all the things that you need. So here you'll be able to open anyways, right? Unsafe. Oh my God, nothing's unsafe after this. That's the one thing about TikTok. Everything's unsafe. You can scroll down and there's videos right here. So here's the trading course. If you want to take the course, you sign up here, then send me a message in my Gmail, which is down here, Gmail, same website. If you go to the YouTube channel, when you go to YouTube, look at live videos, because every time I post, I'm doing them live, so they're under the live tab. And that'll get you set up there where you can go watch all those videos and get you up to speed. Yeah, so I mean, just pretty easy, guys. All right, so right now I'm gonna take a look at the Bitcoin. As you can see here, earlier I was telling Silva that we're getting into a long. You can see right now we're up 21% on this long. So this is where we want to average. So when you can learn how to make 20-30% gains every single time, you can just increase the amount of money that you're investing to make more money. So normally I do $1,000 bag, so which means I would make 200 bucks here, and it would be, you know, an easy day for me. Right now I'm doing, because Silva's doing $200 bags, I'm trading a $200 bag. 20% is 50 bucks. So if I do 10 of these 50 buck trades in the next, you know, day or two or whatever, you know, you can take home a nice little 500 bucks this week just for doing basic trades. So whatever your goal is or whatever you're trying to reach, there's ways to reach it, and we can show you, you know, to break down the systems that you need to be profitable. So everybody's situation is different. Some people want to make 500 bucks a week. Some people want to make 500 bucks a day. You know, so that's what we do. So we can teach you anyway on that. It's always the same trading. It's just how you calculate the percentages. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Silva, I will catch you tomorrow at 2 o'clock Central, and then we'll track this Bitcoin and see where we're at.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Greatly appreciate you.
Yeah, man, later. And don't forget, this is all on YouTube for you, brother.
All right, copy that. Thanks.
Later. So, guys, don't forget, when we post to YouTube, I'll post TikTok saying we're going live, etc. I'll do follow-ups on this trade during the day, so you guys know where we're at. Make sure you like, comment, and save those videos so that way you get the noties when we do go live. All right, other than that, guys, if you ever hop in the Discord, want to hop in here, this is where we stream. Let me kick him out of here. I'm disconnecting. Should be a disconnect option here. But yeah, you can, there we go. Just in case he forgets to disconnect while he's doing his day. But yeah, so you can hop in Discord, you can share screens, watch my screen, and easy to do. Keeps everybody, you know, it makes it easy for you guys to learn. Other than that, good luck, God bless, guys. Have a great night. Talk to you later, man. Appreciate you guys. Hope you're learning something that changes your trading and helps you make more money so you can, you know, move forward and, you know, reach whatever goal you're trying to do, man. Take care of yourself, your family, etc., etc. Have a good night, guys. More sound. So we have so many videos. Everyone is panicking. Okay, so we got that. That'll be there. This will go to YouTube. Oh, everything's starting to pick up here. It looks like a slow